Episode 4. Mango Tree School. There was something different about Adebayo. He didn't talk much, but he listened intensely. He watched people closely. He watched his mother's eyes. He watched the way she folded wrappers, the way she whispered prayers before meals, even when there was almost nothing to eat. He saw everything. By age 4, Adebayo had begun arranging stones in lines, mimicking words. He would trace letters in the sand beside their shelter and pretend he was writing a book. When Adebimpe asked him what he was writing, he would simply say, "Story, Mama." She didn't have the heart to tell him they had no money for school. But Adebimpe, being Adebimpe, refused to let that be the end. So one morning she found a broken plank, cleaned it, and placed it flat under the mango tree near the mechanic yard. That became their desk. She used charcoal to write the alphabet on cement blocks. That became their blackboard. Every afternoon, after hawking, she would sit him down and teach him. A for apple, B for boy, C for cow. She taught him songs too. Twinkle Twinkle, London Bridge, Ba Ba Black Sheep, the only English songs she remembered from her own days in JSS 1. When she was too tired to speak, she told him stories, some real, some made up. She told him about nurses in clean white uniforms who healed people without being afraid of blood. She told him about cities where children wore neat socks to school and had lunchboxes with apples. "You'll go there one day," she whispered. "You'll see it. I'll be here watching you." Adebayo believed her, because when your world is dark, you believe in anything that carries light. One day, while writing in the sand with a stick, a man walked by, middle-aged, slim, with glasses and a clipboard. He stopped. "Who taught you that?" he asked the boy. "Mama," Adebayo replied, shyly. The man turned and looked at Adebimpe, who was nearby, frying bean cakes for sale. He waited until she was done with a customer, then approached. "Madam, you teach 'em how to write?" "Yes, sir," she replied, wiping her hands on her wrapper. The man nodded slowly. "I used to be a teacher, retired now. That boy is gifted." Adebimpe swallowed. "He too dey like book, but me, I no fit put 'em for school now." The man reached into his pocket and brought out a small brown card. "Come to this address tomorrow morning. There's a government program testing kids. If he passes, they might place him in school." Her heart leapt. That night she barely slept. She kept staring at the card like it was a visa. The next morning, Adebimpe dressed Adebayo in his cleanest clothes, a green shirt with one missing button and khaki shorts a size too big. She used thread to hold the sandals together and wiped his face with palm oil and water to make it shine. They arrived at the address, an old public school surrounded by tall weeds and faded paint. Dozens of parents and children were there. When Adebayo entered the room to write, Adebimpe waited outside, sweating and praying. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. Finally, the man with glasses came back out holding a small list. He called names, then looked at her. "Madam Adebayo?" "Yes, sir." She stood up quickly. "Your boy, he's brilliant. He answered questions even some primary 5 students missed. We're placing him directly into primary 4. Adebimpe broke down crying, right there, in front of strangers. The placement came with free tuition, but not free uniform, textbooks, or feeding. Still, it was a start. She began frying akara early in the morning before school and selling until noon. Every profit went into buying school books, pencils, and biscuits for Adebayo's lunch. She took him to school each morning, waited under the mango tree until he finished. She became known as the Tree Mother. Teachers noticed how neat Adebayo's books were, even though his uniform was always oversized. One day, he was asked to read a passage in front of the whole class. He stood up, cleared his throat, and read with a clarity that made the entire room go quiet. When he finished, the teacher clapped. Then the class clapped. Then the headmaster walked in and said,
That boy will go far." Adebimpe waited outside that day as usual, not knowing what had happened inside. When he came out, he ran to her and said, "Mama, I read." They all clapped. She hugged him tightly, fighting tears. "You deserve it. You're a star, my son." But joy never lingered long in Adebimpe's world. One Friday afternoon, a bulldozer arrived at the mechanics yard. "Government demolition." "No warning," a trader shouted. "Dem say illegal structure." By sunset, her makeshift shelter had been reduced to rubble. All her clothes, her foam, her books, Adebayo's writing slate, gone. She begged them to let her remove her things before the second sweep. They laughed. "This is government land," one of them said. "You no get title, not your fault." That night, she and Adebayo slept under the mango tree that had been their classroom. There was no roof, no fire, no food. Adebayo shivered. She held him close, rubbing his back gently. "You taught me everything, Mama," he said quietly. "Not yet," she replied. "I haven't taught you how to fight without fists. That's the real lesson." He nodded, not fully understanding, but feeling the weight of her words. A few days later, she began helping a roadside tailor to cut fabrics and sweep his shop, in exchange for a small shed space to sleep. And with that, the routine resumed.
Each morning, clean the shed, prepare akara, wake Adebayo, walk to school, return to cell, pick him up, help with homework, boil rice, sing lullabies, and sleep. It wasn't much, but to Adebimpe it was everything, because even in the ashes of all they lost, her son's mind was growing, and in his eyes she saw a future she never dared to dream. Like this video, comment and share to stop the mentality of chase her out if she ever gets pregnant before marriage. Also, subscribe and click the notification button in order not to miss any of the 10 episodes. Thank you very much for watching.